All right, you know what time it is. Live from the Bare Muscle Garage, it's time for Fit Crew. What do we got in store for you today? Let's go ahead and share this on screen. So for today's workout, we've got a nice sprint for you here. We're going to be doing an ascending ladder of over the bar burpees and clusters, starting with 2 reps of each, working our way up to 10 reps of each. And we may be looking at this thinking, hey, clusters, that sounds tasty, but it sounds kind of crazy for a workout. Don't worry, guys. As always, we're going to warm up really well, and we're going to go through all the options that are going to allow you to do this workout or your version of it right where you are, using what you have and doing what you can. But let's go ahead and start this general warm up. Here we go. Let's get some arm circles going back. Arm circles back. And as you know, my name is Coach Chris. I am a level 3 CrossFit trainer, which means I've logged thousands of hours over many years, helping many people just like you live their best life through health and fitness. Let's switch to arm circles forward. And I want each and every one of you right now to think about this question. Why do I need fitness in my life right now? We know we need this fitness. That's why we're here. But how am I going to use it? Let's move on to arms across the chest. Hug yourself, love yourself. And let's hear first from Bird Dog. Go ahead and say your name, where you're from, and why do you need fitness in your life right now?
Hello, I'm Robin from Texas. Fitness is important in my life. I not only have seen benefits physically with just my overall health, I've also have experienced benefits to my mental health as well. And I know my family is appreciative of my efforts in this lane.
And appreciate you opening up about that. It's definitely helped us well beyond the physical with the mental and emotional as well. So thank you so much, Bird Dog. Let's go ahead and move on to some high knees. High knees into the chest, or if it works better, we could do some high elbows like this. And while we're doing this, let's hear from Bubbles. Go ahead and say your name, where you're from, and why do you need fitness in your life right now?
Hi, I'm Nakia from New York, and I need fitness in my life right now because you don't realize how much you need to be fit all over, mentally, emotionally, physically, and fitness actually, being conscious of your fitness actually really does help mitigate stress. So if when I'm paying attention, when I'm working out, and when I'm paying attention to all my healthy habits, it helps keep me nice and calm, and it also helps me to be able to stay the course.
And we appreciate when you say the course, you guide us along the way as well. So thank you so much, Bubbles. Let's move on to the wrist wave here. And while we're doing the wrist wave, let's hear from Twin One. Go ahead, say your name, where you're from, and why do you need fitness in your life right now?
Hi, I'm Denise. I'm in New York, and I need fitness to live. There's so many people in this world that they're limited because of their health problems that the doctor says they could prevent. And I don't want that to happen to me. I want to be able to live and be helpful. So I do volunteer work, and I'm able to do that because of my fitness.
Thank you so much for using your life in such a noble way. I'm sure everyone around you appreciate you using your fitness in their service. Let's go ahead and move on to some calf raises. Up on the toe, back on the heel, up on the toe, back on the heel. Or if it works better, we can do some wrist extensions like this. While we're doing this, let's hear from Deb. Go ahead, Deb, say your name, where you're from, and why do you need fitness in your life right now?
I need fitness in my life because, as we know, everybody breaks down differently. So it's amazing how you get up one day and can't do something. And so fitness is good for me because every day I get up and I try my best to do whatever it is that I can do at my best. And so that's why fitness is good for me.
Very well said. Ovation for Deb. And there's nothing we can tell you that you can't do. You're out here doing this thing. So thank you so much, Deb. Let's go ahead and move on to some jumping jacks. Or we could do some stepping jacks if we want low impact. And so digging deep, understanding our why. That is the first step to create unshakable resolve and full discipline and dedication so you can get results. We go over this and so much more in the Committed Club Academy. The Academy has helped hundreds of our Fit Crew family all over the world to peel back the layers, to understand why, and then get into the how, the science behind all of these habits that we go after. If this sounds interesting to you, please click that link that's in this video or feel free to message me directly for details. Let's take a break from this warm-up, guys, and we're going to move on to the activation phase, which is where we're going to do a couple different moves that are going to help us to get specifically ready for today's workout. So the first move we're going to do is the pigeon, and let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate the pigeon for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then that pigeon is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in here and let's sink into the pigeon on this side. So a couple things to keep in mind. We are laying face down. We've got the one leg up and across the chest, other leg back, and we're sinking into this pose here, which opens up the hips and helps us to improve our squat positioning. And then from here, we're going to switch sides. We're going to get the other leg up and across the chest, other leg back. And the pigeon is one of the most important activations that we do. It activates the glutes, relieves issues that might be going on with the IT band. And like we said before, it does improve our squats. So in the squats, we talk about chest up, shoulders back, knees out to the side. And that's actively what we are dialing in here on that pigeon. Next, we're going to do some bird dogs, and you already know who we're going to ask to demonstrate this. Let's go ahead and see 2 reps here. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then those bird dogs are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in, and let's do 10 bird dogs together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We're going to be on hands and knees, and then we're going to raise opposite arm, opposite leg, holding the top there for about 2 seconds before switching sides. Now, it could be that doing this off of our hands and knees is a bit of a challenge, in which case we may choose to do the dead bug. And let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 2 reps of the dead bug here, which is where we're laying on our back. And then basically doing an upside down bird dog. We're lowering opposite arm, opposite leg. And it does take some added challenge to keep the other arm and leg stationary, but we'll get it with time. But good job here on these bird dogs, or dead bugs if that's what we're choosing to do. Next, we're going to do some walk the floors. Let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 1 walk the floor for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then that walk the floor is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 5 walk the floors together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We are starting in a fully standing position. We're going to reach down, touch those toes, walk those hands all the way out, get that chest on the ground, and then get back to a fully standing position, shoulders back at the top. Now, it could be that getting all the way down to the ground is a challenge, in which case we may choose to do that walk the floor down to the plank, just like we saw Deb doing there. We walk out to that plank position and walk it back. Or if needed, we could even do this off of an incline. Let's have twin one demonstrate a couple incline walk the floors. We have our feet up against an inclined surface, and then we're going to take a couple steps back, a couple steps forward, and then we clap overhead. But good job here, no matter what version of the walk the floor that we're doing. Next, we're going to do some air squats. Let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 2 air squats for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then those air squats are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 air squats together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We are starting in a standing position with those feet about shoulder width apart. And we're going to initiate by getting those hips back and down, pushing the knees out to the side throughout the movement until we get all the way down, hips below the knees. And then we're driving through the feet until we get to a fully standing position, locked out up top. Now, it could be that getting those hips all the way down below the knees is a challenge, in which case we may do some assisted squats. We could do some sit to stands like we see Deb doing here, using either a chair or a footstool or any other object. The longer we do this program, the lower targets we can use for assistance until eventually we can squat all the way down, hips below the knees. But good job on these air squats. Next, we're going to do some good mornings. Let's go ahead and have Bird Dog demonstrate 2 good mornings for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then those good mornings are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 good mornings together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We've got those arms folded across the chest and we got those feet close together. And we're going to initiate by sending those hips back, getting that chest to just about parallel, and then squeezing the glutes until we get all the way back to a fully standing position, shoulders back at the top. But good job here on the good mornings. Next, what I'd like everyone to do is let's go ahead and grab a broomstick or a mop or a PVC pipe. We're going to have an awesome game of CrossFit pool going on here. And the PVC pipe is the best way to do it. Actually, the PVC pipe is just, or a broomstick is the greatest way to continue with this warm up here. We're going to do some shoulder mobility. Plus, we always start super light before we go heavy. So nothing heavier than a broomstick. With this broomstick in hand, we're going to do some pass-throughs. And let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 2 pass-throughs for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then those pass-throughs are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 pass-throughs together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We've got a nice wide grip on that broomstick. We're going to pull that broomstick up and over all the way around. And Bird Dog already knows the secret to a good pass-through is that smile, which relaxes the muscles and helps us to have a nice fluid range of motion. And so good job here on these pass-throughs. Next, we're going to do some front squats. So let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 2 front squats for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then for today, the front squat is going to be a hang power clean from the knee up to the shoulders like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the front squat together. So the front squat is going to be very similar to that air squat that we were doing earlier. We're going to start with the same positioning, the feet shoulder width apart. And we're going to initiate by getting those hips back and down, pushing the knees out to the side. But notice how we have that broomstick in the rack position. So we've got those elbows pointed forward and up. And we're really fighting to have a nice high elbow position, especially on the way back up. So we're getting as low as we can go and then standing up, leading with those elbows on the way up. And if we were doing assisted squats earlier, we can continue to do that here as well. But good job here on these front squats. Next, we're going to do some strict press. Let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 2 reps of the strict press for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then that strict press is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the strict press together. So at the start, we're going to have that broomstick in the rack position, those elbows pointed forward and up. And then we are going to press those arms back as we press the head through, getting those biceps into the ear. And then we're going to get those elbows back up on the way down as well. Always returning those elbows to a nice high rack position. But good job here on the strict press. And finally, we're going to do some thrusters. Let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 2 reps of the thruster for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then for right now, instead of a thruster, we're actually going to do a deadlift, which is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the thruster together. So a couple things to keep in mind. This thruster is the combination of that front squat into that press. So we're getting all the way down, hips below the knees, and then we are driving with the feet out of that bottom position, and then pressing the head through as we press those arms back at the top. And so we want to get as low as we can go. If we were doing some assisted squats earlier, then we can do some assisted thrusters here, sitting back, standing up, pressing that through. And then one more detail on the thruster that's going to help is the breathing. Deep breath in before that rep, brace that core, breathe out at the top. And so good job on these thrusters. Well, that is it for the activation phase. Now we're going to move on to the movement prep, which is where we're going to practice specifically the 2 movements that we're doing in today's workout. The first move is over the bar burpees, specifically lateral burpees, if we have the space for that today. And so to demonstrate lateral over the bar burpees, let's have Bird Dog show us 2 reps here. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then if you're on a chair that can turn or swivel, I'd like you to do your first rep of the burpee facing left. And then after that rep, we can turn to the right and hit another rep of the burpee. But if we are not in a chair that swivels, then we could just do all reps facing the same direction. So let's everyone join in and let's do 6 reps of the over the bar burpees. So a couple things to keep in mind. We can either jump or step those feet back. And then we also have that option to jump or step the feet out of that burpee in the bottom position. but we're getting the chest and thighs to the ground and then hopping over that if we want to do this RX. Otherwise, if we need to step over just because of our circumstances, then that's fine as well. And it could be that getting the chest all the way to the ground is a challenge, in which case we could do the burpees down to the plank like we see Bubbles doing here. She's getting that down to the plank position and then getting back up. And if we need to do these burpees off of an incline, then that is acceptable as well. Let's have Twin One demonstrate a couple reps of the incline burpee. So we're on an incline surface. We're going to take a couple steps back, optionally include a push-up in there to get that chest to touch, lock it out, and then step back in and clap overhead. But good job on these burpees. The second move that we're doing in today's workout is the cluster, which, as the name implies, is a combination of a clean right into a thruster. And let's go ahead and have Twin One demonstrate 2 reps of the cluster for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then we're going to go from that deadlift into that clean and press. And that's going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 6 reps of the cluster together. So that cluster is basically thrusters, except we are tapping the ground in between each rep. So we start with that bar on the ground, we jump into a front squat, press that out, tap the ground again, jump into that squat, press that out. And we want to, speed is the name of the game there, going from that ground into that jump and squat and press overhead. Now, if we were doing some assisted squats earlier, then that's fine. We can start right in front of where we are using our target for assistance, tap that ground, and then hit that sit, stand, press it out. Now, if the coordination of this is starting to get a bit confusing here and the thruster is a little bit better, no, you're doing fine, Bubbles. I'm just saying in general. We can do just the thruster if that's better for us. Just hit that squat and that press. But Bubbles is doing the clusters just right, hitting that clean squat, press it out. But good job here on the cluster. Well, now it's ramp up time. If you've been doing this program long enough to earn your first badge and you like to start adding some weight to that cluster to do either the scaled, intermediate, or RX weight, then let's start to add a little bit of weight. Actually, we don't want it to feel too heavy. Today, we're definitely looking for us to sprint this out. And so we're going to have enough time to do a couple practice sets, adding a little bit of weight, hitting about 2 to 4 clusters at a time until we get to the weight that we want to use for our workout. But if we have not earned our first badge yet, or we're just getting back into this after a long time off, then please, let's not add any weight. That broomstick is going to be more than enough for us today. Seriously, it's very important that we have the right form and consistency with all of our habits, as evidenced by earning that badge, before we've earned the right to add or reintroduce intensity, such as by adding weight or going fast. And whether we're adding weight or not, let's pay close attention to the following checklist. Number 1, please make sure your device is fully charged or plugged in so we can get through this whole workout without losing you. Number 2, let's grab some water. Let's take a sip. Let's make sure we got our water nearby so we can take a sip as needed all throughout the workout. Number 3, I'm going to give everyone a 3, 2, 1, go countdown. And that's how you can synchronize your timer with mine if you choose to use one. Number 4, music. Super important. This is a sprint of a workout today. This is what I call a 1-song WOD, maybe a 2-song WOD. What are the 1 or 2 songs that are going to help you to fight through this as fast as you can? Still moving well, of course, moving with focus. You can blast your music as loud as you want, as long as you can still hear me helping you throughout the workout. And lastly, how are we keeping track of these rounds? This is a 5-round workout. The reps start low, then they're going higher. We're going to be climbing up this mountain. There's going to be a lot going on. It's going to be easy to lose track of where we are, who we are, what we're doing. So let's have some type of system in place to help us to get through this without getting lost. Something that helps with that is having the workout written down close by. So if you're a teacher's pet like Deb, first to the screen, winning the Teacher's Pet Award today, Mighty Mouse with the scorecard award. We've got Bubbles with the green border award. That's a nice bright green color she's got on there. And we got Twin 1 with the multiple color award. And then we've got Bird Dog with the whiteboard companion award. Let's go ahead and take a teacher's pet picture just to show how prepared you are. Teacher's pet picture in 3, 2, 1. Awesome. I'm going to bring the workout back on screen one more time, and then we'll get going. So in just about a minute, we're going to start this timer, and we're about to do this workout here, which is 2 over-the-bar burpees and 2 clusters, and then 4 over-the-bar burpees and 4 clusters, then 6 over-the-bar burpees and 6 clusters, 8 burpees and 8 clusters, and then 10 burpees and 10 clusters. And like we said before, if we have not been earning badges, let's just use that broomstick for today. The cluster is already a challenging movement in and of itself. Let's definitely make sure that we've earned that right by earning those badges first. And let's pick the style of the burpee that is better for us as well. So your score is going to be the time it takes to get through these 5 rounds of ascending reps of over-the-bar burpees and clusters. So if you are good to go, give me a thumbs up over here and we'll get it going. I'm going to get our clock up. And then I'm going to highlight Twin 1 to get us going. So here we go, guys. 2 over-the-bar burpees, 2 clusters, then 4 over-the-bar burpees, 4 clusters, then 6 of each, then 8 of each, then 10 of each. How long is it going to be? Let's find out. Starting in 10 seconds. Let's get ready. 3, 2, 1, go. And we are off on these over-the-bar burpees. All the way down, all the way up, all the way over. And then we are hitting these clusters. Getting low, pressing it out. Hitting that jump, squat, press. Now, it is a very big temptation in a workout like this. The reps start low. We can start really fast here, but let's remember, we've got the rounds of 4 and 6 and 8 and 10. And so let's make sure that, yeah, while we do want to go fast, we also don't want to redline too soon. Let's make sure we're breathing nice and deep, moving nice and steady, trying to hold on to that bar for big sets here. And we got Bird Dog finishing the 4 burpees, moving into the 4 clusters. And notice the footwork there. She's starting with the feet close together, then jumping wide as she gets into the thruster. Maybe not so wide though, Bird Dog, just a little bit more narrow on that next one. You're gonna have more power. But in general, yeah, that footwork is what we wanna see. We wanna start close together, much better. And then we're getting the feet a little bit wider as we get into that squat and then press that out overhead. And we are through the round of 4, most of us moving on to the round of 6. We have a very tight target window today. This is what we call a sprint workout. As you guys know, in this program, we have lots of different types of workouts, and we also have additional pieces of the programming. We have what's called orange WODs, where we go heavy. And so on a workout like today, that seems very short on paper, just know that we need to do these sprints sometime, and plus we're gonna get heavy right after this, after this episode in the orange WOD. And so that's why we're pairing this super fast sprint, getting those muscles primed and ready for action to get heavy a little bit later. But we are making our way through this round of 6, most of us. Finishing off those burpees and finishing off some clusters. Breathing deep through it. And if we haven't felt it yet, I would say, hey, by the time we're getting through those 6 clusters and especially getting into that round of 8 burpees, that's when we feel like, all right, this workout has started. And we may feel like we've hit a wall, but we want to burst through it. We want to keep going, knowing that we are going to make it to the other side. So let's dive into this round of 8. Getting down, getting up, hopping over. Or if we're doing these incline burpees, that's fine as well. Getting those legs back. Hitting that push up. Doing what we gotta do here, guys. Whether we're getting all the way down or getting that burpee down to the plank. We got lots of different options to keep moving with the intended stimulus. And we got Bird Dog picking up that bar for the round of 8 here. Let's hit that breather. Let's hit that jump. Squat, press it out. And we are pressing back on these clusters here, guys. The foundation of a good cluster is a good thruster. And the foundation of a good thruster is that depth on that front squat and then the great bar path as we press out of it. So we're pressing back, getting those arms into the ears. Then let's remember to take a deep breath before each rep there. Take that deep breath in, hit that jump into that squat, breathe out at the top. That steady oxygen flow. And it looks like we got Mighty Mouse barreling toward the finish here. Like we said, we have a very quick target window today. So a number of us finishing off this round of 8 and move it into the round of 10. Let's breathe. Let's keep moving here. Bird Dog. About to dive into this round of 10. Quick sip right into it. Twin 1. Beating Bird Dog to the ground. Getting those burpees in. We got Deb on some burpees. We got Bubbles finishing off what looks like round 8. Mighty Mouse on what looks like the round of 10 here. Making her way toward the finish line. So 1 burpee at a time here, guys. And let's save that lower back. So we are jumping or stepping those feet back. But especially on the way out of the burpee, let's take that deep breath in, brace that core. If we need to step out of each rep to save that back, so be it. But we want to lead with the hips on the way up. And we don't want to keep worming and snaking out of those burpees. So we hit the ground, we take that deep breath in, we brace that core. And we are on this. We got Deb choosing to do some thrusters here.
Done.
Hey, Mighty Mouse across the finish line. Let's get that victory dance from Mighty Mouse. We got Twin One taking a breather, getting the game face on. Bird Dog about to go to town on that bar. So Twin One attacking this round of 10 here. Tapping the ground, hitting that jump. Hitting that squat, pressing it out. Bird Dog as well, racing through this round of 10. Bubbles racing through the round of 10. It looks like Deb is across the finish line. Good job, Deb, on that victory dance. But let's cheer everyone on, guys. Just a couple reps left for Twin One.
Nice going, guys. Nice going.
Couple reps left for Bird Dog. Couple reps left for Bubbles.
You got this, guys. You got it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Twin One with just a couple more clusters. Took a quick breather. Back on that bar. Hitting that jump. Hitting that squat. Pressing it out. And there goes Twin One. Bird Dog across the finish line. So good job, Bird Dog. Bubbles across the finish line. Awesome work, guys. All right, and now we're at the best part of the workout, which is the cool down stretch. And the stretch is super important to help us fight soreness, increase flexibility, so we can come back day after day, staying consistent and committed. So the first stretch we're going to do today is the scorpion. And that's going to be where we're laying face down and we've got those arms out to the side. And we're going to get that left foot going right as close as we can to the right hand. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then we're going to get that right elbow up and pull to the left like this. And while we're doing this, let's reflect on the workout. Let's do some high-low buffalo. So, high. What is one thing you feel you did well in today's workout? Low. What is something you want to do better the next time it shows up? And buffalo. What is something that surprised you about today's workout? While we're thinking about that, let's switch here. We're going to go on the other side of this scorpion. So we're going to get the right foot going left as close as we can to the left hand. And while we're on this side, let's hear from Bird Dog. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're now getting the other elbow up and pulling to the side like this. But what is your high-low buffalo, Bird Dog?
I think my high would be the clusters. I like that move. Don't do it often, so it's a little challenging. The low, the burpees, I feel like really tested my stamina. Something to work on. Buffalo, I thought I'd be really upset about the direction of the ladder today, but it was just fine, so got through it.
See, that's what we do, some mental training as well. We're building that mental toughness, more muscles, less tears. Good job there, Bird Dog. Let's go ahead and move on to the dragon. So we're going to get into a nice long lunge here, opening up those hips. Optionally, we can twist toward that front knee if we like. Or if this is a bit hard on the knee, then we can do a single leg stretch like this. We're going to have one leg out and reach toward the toe. But those are two different options here on this dragon. And while we're doing this, let's hear from Twin One. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're going to twist toward the right, holding on to whatever we need to. But what is your high-low buffalo, Twin One?
So my high was doing the workout. I feel better after the workout. And then low was the burpees. And the buffalo was, I felt I was able to go a little bit faster on this one.
And that's consistency talking right there. You know, all of us have to convince ourselves every once in a while, like, hey, you know, I'll feel better when I'm done. I'll feel better when I'm done. And then we do the workout, and then we surprise ourselves. Hey, I do feel better. We go through this whole thing, but you killed it, and it's always a pleasure to watch. Let's go ahead and hit dragon on the other side now. So we've got the other leg up, and optionally we're twisting toward that knee or just getting into that nice long lunge like this. And while we're on this side, let's hear from Bubbles. And if we're doing this in a seated position, then we're going to twist toward the left, holding on to whatever we need to. And let's remember, we have the option to, if doing it off the knee is a challenge, we'll do the forward fold with the other leg now, reaching toward that toe. But what is your high-low buffalo, Bubbles?
High was yep, I showed up today. I was not feeling it. And then I looked at the WOD and I was like, oh, burpees produce endorphins. I remember that from a long time ago. I said, all right, as much as I have a love-hate relationship with burpees, I knew that after I finished the WOD, I would feel much better. So, and I do. So burpees was actually my I guess my low today because, you know, I have a love-hate relationship with them. But my high was definitely, what were we doing? Even though they were challenging, but we don't do them often. But it was a very good move and very good move. Totally warmed up my body for what was to happen next. So it was a really good one. Thanks, Coach.
And thank you, Bubbles, for fighting through it. Once again, it's always that struggle, physical, mental. But then, hey, we show up to the workout. We feel better when we're done. And you hit the nail on the head. It's those endorphins. So good job there, Bubbles. Well, that's our WOD. That's our stretch. That's our high-low buffalo. You know what we need to do. Let's hit that sweaty selfie, because does this count if we don't take this selfie? Let's flex on the camera here, guys. And let's hit this selfie. Sweaty selfie in 3, 2, 1. And crazy face. And let's put the fist in the middle for the cheer. On 3, 2 claps. Fit crew. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Fit crew. Fit crew.
Fit crew. Thank you guys so much. If you enjoy this program, then please give this channel a subscribe, a like, and a share. Thank you very much, and see you next time.